Oh, when everyone is preparing for a Halloween party at Rowena Drake's home in
Woodley.
Woodley Common, 13-year-old Joyce Reynolds tells everyone she had once seen a murder before. When the party ends, Joyce is found dead, drowned in an apple bobbing tub.
Want to listen to this Ivory Tower Boiler Room or True Crime and Academia episode ad free? Head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room to listen to all of our podcast episodes without any ads. You get access to our video episodes, our bonus episodes, and even more exclusive content, including merchandise. It only starts at $5 a month. So head on over to our Patreon. Again, it's patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. And while you're at it, you know what would be such a help is if you could rate and review the Ivory Tower Boiler Room on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And make sure that you follow us and share out our podcast to all of your friends. It truly does help. And I want to thank you all. It means so much that you're listening to the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. I hope that you enjoy this episode. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. This is Dr. Andrew Rimby. And officially, welcome to October. Welcome to spooky season. Halloween season, all things gothic and horror. And if you're watching on YouTube, yes, we're on YouTube now with our videos. And if you're watching on Patreon, you get full access to our videos. So that's another reason to join the ITBR professor level for $10 a month on Patreon. I'm joined with, it's a distinguished guest. I don't know how to explain the enigma that is my guest here, except she is someone who birthed me, someone who has known me for 31 years, my very own mother, Kathy Rimby. Welcome, Mom, to the podcast.
Hi, Andrew, and everyone out there.
She's like, Andrew, I'm so nervous to join. And I'm like, Mom, you're just going to have a conversation with me. So you do not have to be nervous, Mom. I am kind of curious before we dig into all things Halloween and spooky season. Sarah Fraser just had me on her show to talk about the Ivory Tower Boiler Room as my full-time job, being an entrepreneur. And I even bring up you and Dad because you had quite the reaction to my OnlyFans. And I think it's a good learning lesson for everyone there who has parents who are very eager to, I'm trying to be gentle here. They mean well, but they don't necessarily understand their children's creative endeavors or even me being an only child. You want the best for me. So I'm just curious if you can open up here right now. What was making you nervous about, say, even your son, dear Andrew, going on OnlyFans?
Well, I only hear about the creepiness regarding OnlyFans. So I know it's normally, um, I don't
You're
know
talking
what,
about creepy older men. Is that what you're worried? Well, you also were scared there was going to be stalkers at my door.
well, that's true. I do worry about that because
Yes.
I don't know what to expect. I looked it up and it says that mostly it's sexual content involved with OnlyFans. And yeah, I don't want to think about that.
And my mom has a background in marketing, so she was doing some market research. And but I think it's a great moment, Mom, of a learning lesson out there for everyone who is nervous about peer pressure if it's something they really authentically want to do. And something I've been telling my mom is even I'm wearing a Carrie White shirt right now. My mom knows I'm obsessed with Stephen King. And Carrie was actually, I still remember your reaction, Mom. In 8th grade, I had gotten my hands on Carrie from the Margaret Hagan Library. Shout out to them in South Jersey. They're a wonderful library if you live in South Jersey. I recommend the Cherry Hill one too. But that you were like, oh my goodness, this is such mature topic for you, Andrew. Like there's discussions about blood and periods. But I was like, no, I really am loving horror. And I felt really seen by Carrie's story and the bullying she goes through and how she becomes powerful from it, trying to find her voice. And it's something I've even found with being gay is finding my voice and educating everyone out there. So I want to let you all know my mom and I, we worked through her differences and my differences in terms of trying to convince her that it's okay I'm on OnlyFans. And like I said to her, I did not sign my name in blood to talk about spooky season, you know, signing contracts with the devil's blood. I was like, I did not do that. I didn't sign a pact with the OnlyFans devil. Um,
I'm afraid what people are going to ask you to do.
I understand that concern, Mom, but also I have agency with the chats and I can stop talking with some of these people. Like I don't have to keep going back and forth. And there are ways to protect yourselves on OnlyFans by blocking people, limiting conversations. What's been wonderful though, Mom, is my podcasts on OnlyFans, I'll talk about rewatching Queer as Folk or even doing these gothic discussions or Wizard of Oz even. And I've had the men who are paying, you know, for my material. It's almost like a reality show on OnlyFans I'm doing. Like I'm talking about opening up about dating, about what it was it like coming out as gay, what was it like losing my virginity, which my mom doesn't want to hear about, which is why I said to my parents, please don't join my OnlyFans. Not everything is for you. And dad, I appreciate the support, but you don't need
Not
to listen
joining.
to everything. No,
Yeah.
she's not going to join
No.
it. And that's probably for the best. But even someone came to me and said, Andrew, I have a huge Carrie obsession and I knew about the Broadway musical. So it is interesting to hear who you attract on, you know, subscription programs like that. So, okay. I've opened up about my OnlyFans journey with my parents, and now we can move on. Um, but something that I really love is, you know, wishing you all out there a happy Halloween. My mom was someone who I really always loved seeing horror movies with, or we used to go to this movie store, video store called Gloucester County Videos with Flossie. She was the owner, just a beautiful woman, presence. And she had the horror section. Do you remember that section, Mom? What it was like? It was really scary.
It was,
Do you remember what did it look like? The horror section.
no, it was in the dark hall behind a lot of other videos. So it gave you the creeps to begin with.
Yeah,
The
it
way
was
it
pitch
was set up.
black.
Yeah.
Like so you're trying to like find Scream or you know Nightmare on Elm Street and it's pitch black and you're like please Flossie can I have the light turned on. But there's nothing like video stores. I miss them in a way. Streaming is just doesn't cut it. It's not the same experience. But
Well, she was very good at
mhm,
recommending different
she had a
videos.
catalog, yeah,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
she knew what you wanted, which was
Yes.
she was a curator of videos.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm sure all of you out there had your favorite video store. If you're of that age, if not, maybe you grew up with streaming. Some of you have, but when I knew that they were going to be bringing out A Haunting in Venice, and it's based off of an Agatha Christie novel. So my mom and I went to the movies, down here visiting my parents in South Jersey, and I was like, Mom, we need to see A Haunting in Venice. So went to see it with my mom. We also had seen The Haunted Mansion in August. So we're gonna kind of compare A Haunting in Venice to The Haunted Mansion, since both have the word haunting in the title. And I'm just going to open up here. So, if you don't know, A Haunting in Venice is based off of Halloween Party from 1969 by Agatha Christie. And we get introduced again to the Belgian detective Hercule Poirot. Um, and he's played by Kenneth Branagh. So Kenneth Branagh, mom, has been doing all of these Agatha Christie novels, um, bringing them to the screen. So I actually saw Death on the Nile when that had come out a few years ago. But here's our synopsis with Agatha Christie's novel, and we can kind of compare it to the movie. Um, Actually, why don't you read it, Mom? Our synopsis here. This is from Agatha Christie's novel.
Oh, when everyone is preparing for a Halloween party at Rowena Drake's home in
Woodley.
Woodley Common, 13-year-old Joyce Reynolds tells everyone she had once seen a murder before. When the party ends, Joyce is found dead, drowned in an apple bobbing tub. Ariadne Oliver, attending the party while visiting her friend Judith Butler, calls on
Her,
Hercule Poirot to
yeah.
investigate the murder and Joyce's claim. With help from retired Superintendent Spence, Poirot makes a list of deaths and disappearances for the last few years in Woodley Common.
Yeah, so in the novel, um, Joyce, this 13-year-old, is found dead. There's the following characters in
Huh.
Halloween Party. Rowena's aunt, Mrs. Luluwen Smith, um, Leslie Ferrier, a lawyer's clerk, Charlotte Benfield, a 16-year-old shop assistant, Janet White. Oh no, these are a list of deaths of people who had died in Woodley Common. Janet White, a teacher at Elm School, and then there's yeah, a bunch of Aradney Oliver is the crime fiction writer and Perot's friend. She attends the Halloween party that Joyce is killed during. So I would say A Haunting in Venice is very loosely based off of this. It's not the same narrative. I would say we do get a robbing for apples scene, but it's not the murder scene.
Right.
So first of all, Agatha Christie's novel is set in England. We're actually in Venice here. And I thought right away we can just walk through the movie. We just saw it last night, so it's kind of fresh in our heads.
Mhm.
What did you think of the scenery?
I enjoyed the scenery. Um, Being able to see Venice and the way it was shot from above.
Mm.
And so I enjoyed it to the point I think many people would have left the theater wanting to go visit Venice.
And Venice is such an interesting city. I was saying to my mom, why don't we visit? Because I forgot you can only go on the canals to get to every, if you have to go far in Venice.
Yeah. Mhm.
But it's kind of like when I took you to Fire Island, Mom, that you can't have cars and you have to
Yes.
walk. Um, and I thought that you were saying to me, this isn't a haunted house. It's like a palace. It's almost, it's a very, it seems like a very cold, um, almost crypt, like a very large palace that
Mhm.
Rowena lives in, the mother, but it's not warm and inviting. It's like all stone, marble, and it's not a traditional haunted house, like where they're all locked in a haunted house. It's like, yeah, I thought that was really ghostly and gothic. What did you think of Tina Fey playing the crime writer?
It was very hard to wrap my head around the fact that she, as a comedian, that's how I view Tina Fey. So that was tough for me to buy into um, throughout the movie, especially at the beginning. I think she did a good job. I just felt like it was an odd role for her to be in.
And then what did you think of the whole premise that they were going to attend a seance because um Tina Fey's character, which I'll, try to quickly remember. Oh, um yeah, Aradney Oliver. Okay, so her name is the same in the movie. She's trying to convince Kenneth Branagh is playing Perot that seances are real because this woman that Michelle Yeoh plays is a um, medium and she's in charge of seances. And Aradney, Tina Fey's character, wants to do a new novel based around this woman who does seances and like says to Perot, "You need to come. This is actually going to be my next novel, and I want you to witness that this is a real life case. That you can then like be part of the success of this new novel because she's trying to like market herself. Um, as a murder mystery writer who actually has real life characters. So, what did you think of Michelle
Wow.
Yeoh as this medium?
I loved when she appeared. I felt like the movie really became more, what's the word? Exciting.
Mhm.
As soon as even how her character came in on the boat. So, from that point on, I felt like it picked up. The movie picked up and was more interesting, at least in my eyes.
And she's wearing a mask.
Yes.
It was
Mm-hmm.
like a masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a lot of discussion about the Black Death in the Renaissance in Italy with like the orphans who had lived in that
Mm-hmm.
Pal and who had lived in the palace. They were legend says they were locked in there and left to die. Um, I was a little confused about why nurses and doctors were killed there with the
Yeah.
orphans. Like the orphans wanted revenge on nurses and doctors because they locked
Right.
them in there. That I thought fell flat, and it doesn't come from
Yeah,
Agatha
I didn't
Christie's
get that.
novel.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. I think when Michelle Yeoh comes on the boat, it was one of the most, like, frightening moments, but
Yes.
also that son, the young son, he's reading Edgar Allan Poe, and that's a very Poe it felt like Edgar Allan Poe, one of his stories called The Mask of the Red Death, which I like, which is set in Italy in the plague. So I thought they were kind of doing some Poe
Hmm.
telling
Okay.
of the story there. Okay, so we have Michelle Yeoh. What did you think about um, all of the accents of the characters?
Uh, Tough to understand. I mean, there were times that I wish I had closed caption so that I would understand what they were saying. If I were watching it at home, I would definitely have clicked on closed captioning.
And was it confusing that we were getting characters from so many countries?
Yes. Mm.
Like, I was kind of curious, like,
Yeah.
how did all these characters come together in Venice? Like, we never really found out.
I felt like it was all over the place in a way. I
Yeah,
mean, there were times I sat there confused
yeah.
and I thought, am I the only one watching this that's confused?
I feel like it threw us into a storyline without really setting up how everyone got to Venice.
Right.
Like, I would have loved knowing how Tina Fey's character even arrived in Venice. Like, instead of her delivering an apple to like
Yeah, I didn't.
announce that she came and Perot knew that the writer had an apple. I thought,
Yeah, I
like,
didn't get that.
why didn't we see a flashback of them knowing each other? Or I don't know, setting the scene, especially because you said, Mom, Tina Fey is usually a comedian. Like maybe we needed more drama from her at the beginning to
I
kind of
agree.
separate who she is as an
Yes.
actress.
Hmm.
Um, Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Rimby, and I'm so excited to shout out the Gay and Lesbian Review, who is helping to sponsor the ITBR podcast. For all of you out there, the Gay and Lesbian Review is a bi monthly magazine where you can discover new things about gay and lesbian literature, history, and culture. And the GL Review publishes essays in a wide range of disciplines, as well as a slew of reviews of books, plays, and movies, and a number of special features, such as artist profiles and their popular art memo column. Each issue of the magazine brings you consistently intelligent, lively, thought provoking articles focused on a unifying theme. For example, their September October issue centers on the theme Cracking the Closet. So, starting in the 19th century, a number of artists and writers found ways to crack the closet by expressing their sexuality between the lines or in the interstices of their work. For example, Ignacio Darnad, who is a friend of the ITBR podcast, he's been on our show, writes all about illustrator J.C. Leyendecker, whose work for Ivory Soap and Arrow Collars gave him plenty of opportunities to draw pictures of well dressed and at times scantily dressed American men. And you also can find an article by Vernon Rosario, who has been on the podcast, and he talks about the quest for sex in the Middle Ages. So, to subscribe, visit glreview.org. That's glreview.org ibreach.org. Click subscribe. So on their website, go all the way over to the right-hand side and you'll see the button subscribe. Click subscribe and enter the promo code ITBR50 because you're getting 50% off your subscription to the print or digital edition of the Gay and Lesbian Review magazine. I can't wait for you all to have your copy of the Gay and Lesbian Review magazine, and make sure that you take a picture when your magazine arrives or when you're reading it online and tag the GL Review on Instagram and ITBR, and we'll share it out in our stories. Enjoy your reading, everyone. Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Andrew Rimby, and I'm so excited to be talking about Broadview Press. You might be asking, what is Broadview Press, Andrew? Broadview is an independent academic publisher in the humanities that produces high quality, pedagogically useful books for use in university and college classrooms. They publish in the humanities, mainly English studies, writing, philosophy, and history, just to name a few genres. And recently, I had on Dr. Jason Holt, who wrote all about the philosophy of sport. And what better summer episode than to talk about what happens when a philosopher dissects the beautiful aesthetics of sporting culture? In the spring, I had on doctors Kyle Stedman and Tanya Rodriguez to talk about what is sound writing, how to make audio projects in the college classroom, how to even have your students create podcasts. And then in the winter, I had on Dr. Jeffrey Weinstock. He talked about analyzing pop culture. Yes, I even sneak in some Real Housewives questions and how to teach composition and make it fun. He uses this whole metaphor about being a mad scientist in this gothic lab. And in the fall, I had on Dr. Ann Stevens, and she talked about literary theory and criticism. And yes, the university season is upon us. So, what better way to talk about the college classroom than to actually understand what is literary theory? That's a wonderful episode for all of you out there who teach literary studies. I love Broadview Press. Make sure you use their exclusive code. It's Ivory Tower on broadviewpress.com. You get 20% off all Broadview Press publications. Okay, until the next Broadview Press interview. And now back to the Ivory Tower Boiler Room.
And I wanted to know, how did the characters who were staying in that, I'll call it like a semi castle,
Yeah.
wasn't it, in a way? Um, how did they end up there? Why were they staying there?
Well, the doctor is living
Okay.
there because he was smitten and in love with Rowena, whose daughter, you find out early, has fallen to her death from the balcony because she's driven mad by
The break of it.
well, that, but
Oh,
hallucinations of apparently hearing the dead children speak to her to tell her
oh,
to kill herself. And we're gonna give spoilers, everyone. So if you haven't seen it, be ready. I thought the most I thought the beginning was actually really good. I thought all the like Halloween party, it's set during Halloween. I
mm-hmm.
thought when Michelle Yeoh arrives, it was really
Yes,
doing well. And like her spinning around and she's possessed, you think,
yes,
really was hitting a stride.
yeah.
Um, I was confused when we were really left um aghast with it didn't I wasn't understanding where the line was between um the campy satire and actual horror. Like I thought with
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Yeoh they were going for horror and it was working, but then we're like, oh, she's a fraud because Perot found out that her assistants actually were behind all the ghostly
Right.
aspects of the seance. Like she's a fraud, but then how was she turning, like you said, Mom, how is she spinning around in her chair possessed? Like, is she actually possessed? It's and then she gets killed and falls to her death on a sculpture and is impaled. It was like
Yeah,
this.
I'm telling you, it didn't make sense. The sequence. It just was. I mean, I was entertained by Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, I was sad that she died early. Like I thought we should have gotten more from her.
I agree.
But did you know right away that Rowena was the one behind the murders?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
I really didn't. Um, no, not right away.
Yeah, I actually really loved the actress who played
Yes,
Rowena.
I did
Okay,
too.
and she's from the UK. Okay. Yeah, Jessica Kelly Siobhan Riley. I thought she was really well cast.
Yes,
I love Kenneth Branagh. I think he does a good job. I liked the doctor, who I think is Jamie
I
Dornan,
did too.
who was in 50 Shades of Grey, which was interesting, but he did really well.
Yes.
And we have here the two assistants. You were kind of confused with um, Emma Liard, who plays apparently Desdemona, which I wouldn't even have known the assistant's name. And Amir El Masri plays Alessandro. So, yeah, what did you think about the assistants to Michelle Yeoh? Like, there's these assistants to the medium.
I think it was confusing. I didn't realize they were her assistants.
Hmm.
Um, it wasn't real clear.
Yeah, and they're from where your relatives are from, which was Czechoslovakia or
Right.
Hungary. It
My
was,
people.
yeah, they're like, they're from Czechoslovakia. And I was like, huh? And they're half siblings. Or I don't know. It's just
I
like
didn't get it.
I get it in the sense that murder mysteries tend to have really eccentric people, like personalities. I said to my mom, this movie was almost reminding me of Clue, but without the humor.
But it wasn't
Like
funny.
Clue is hilarious, and they're so good in that movie.
True.
But I thought that it didn't know whether to be funny or to be
Right.
seriously scary. Like I wish it had picked a lane because
Maybe Tina Fey should have been funny.
I think she could have done
That
well
actually
being
would have
funny.
been, yes, I think that would have helped.
But then her character apparently is behind blackmailing, like is behind this whole scheme to sell books. She's going to basically um fool everyone that the seance is real. And then I'm like, wait, so she was behind the whole manipulation of the seance.
That didn't make
It
sense,
got
did
very
it?
confusing.
No.
And then like the security guard cop, I forget what he is, but he was like a
It
cop.
was, yeah,
He's working in cahoots with her. I'm like,
yeah.
there were too
There
many,
were a lot of pieces that didn't fit together.
and there was too much blackmailing. Like, remember in Clue, Mr. Body. Yeah, Mr. Body is blackmailing all of them at the house, but then Mr. Body gets murdered. And you're like,
Right.
wait, but Mr. Body's supposed to be the one in charge of the piece, putting all the chess pieces in place. So then that's why Clue works, because you
Is
don't
that Tim
know.
Curry?
No, Mr. Body is Tim Curry's a butler.
Oh,
He's just called the butler.
oh,
Mr. Body like comes in and tells each of them what their blackmail is, and then the lights go off and he's found dead.
oh.
But okay, so let's move to In a Haunting in Venice. Something that I thought did work well was the son. I liked the boy. I thought he was really well
Yes.
cast and
So
kind of
did I.
creepy. He's like, I hear the voices.
Mm,
Or
I
I was
thought he
saying,
was good.
yeah, I was saying to my mom, it's almost like The Sixth Sense.
Yes. Right.
And then
Hmm.
we find out that Rowena has been poisoning her daughter with like a hallucinant. But then it lost me when it was like, it's a form of honey that's on a hallucinogenic poison. I was like,
Yeah.
why can't she just have been like giving her a poison that causes hallucinations? Like, why do we need the bees in the garden? It was just, again, I think it was trying to do a lot, like be so realistic that it actually confused people.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
And yeah, but I thought like her, when you find out that she's actually the one who like has been behind the murders, it was um really her unraveling. But then again, she like feels that the spirit of her daughter, once she's found out, she's on the balcony and thinks her daughter is there and pushes her and then she falls to her death. And I was like, it's remember like she falls Rowena falls from the tower at the end and is murdered. Not murdered, she like falls off and dies.
Yeah, I didn't.
Like I kind of wanted more from her character of maybe she doesn't die right away and like
Yeah.
has to like be, I don't know, prosecuted. It just was again, I think the murder mystery genre can only do so much.
Mhm.
And
But it does make me want to read Halloween Party
mhm,
after watching.
I kind of do want to, yeah, I want to see
Mhm.
like how I don't think all Agatha Christie novels can work well as movies. Like I think it's just maybe the genre of a murder of her murder mysteries.
Mhm.
Um, I was saying to my mom, I think this could have worked as a play
Uh-huh.
because remember, Mom, there's that horror play called When an Inspector Calls, or
Yes.
which is
Mhm.
kind of the same. They're all locked in the house,
Yeah.
people die. Um, and then I was saying to my mom, remember, we just saw the Haunted Mansion,
Yeah.
and the Haunted Mansion is funny. I mean, that's more comedic, but it is kind of serious. Like
Mhm.
his fiance dies and he's like depressed, the main character. And
Yeah.
I thought that cast, I was actually,
Had a good story.
yeah. And I went
Mhm.
into it and I thought it was going to be really just campy and
Yeah.
like for children. And I thought it was actually a pretty serious movie.
Yeah.
I liked it. I
I
think
did too.
I
I
like the
liked it.
Haunted Mansion more than A Haunting in Venice.
I agree.
Um, like I don't think I'm gonna watch A Haunting in Venice again. Like I think I've seen it and I'm good. Um, Hi everyone, this is Andrew, and I am interrupting what I know is such an exciting Ivory Tower Boiler Room episode to tell you all about one of my favorite podcasts. It's called That Old Gay Classic Cinema, and it's hosted by Christian Garcia. Christian is joined with guest co hosts to talk about classic cinema films that we know and love, and he analyzes them through a queer lens. So he's talked about The Sound of Music, Alfred Hitchcock, The Wizard of Oz, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, and recently Hello Dolly. I actually was on his first ever episode to talk about my love of The Sound of Music and playing Captain Von Trapp in my high school musical. Then I was joined with Mary DePippi, the host of True Crime in Academia, and our friend Travis Roundtree to talk about Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. Mary just had Christian on True Crime in Academia to talk about female poisoners, including the evil queen from Snow White and actual real life female poisoners. So, Christian's podcast is the best. You must add it to your listen list. After you listen to this episode, make sure you head over to That Old Gay Classic Cinema on Apple and Spotify. Make sure you follow him on Instagram at That Old Gay Classic Cinema. And he's also on TikTok. Don't forget TikTok. Okay, I can't wait for you all to listen to That Old Gay Classic Cinema. And now back to the Ivory Tower Boiler Room. LGBT stories are universal, but each one speaks to the individual heart and soul of the writer telling it. Do you have a story to tell? Or have you been moved by an LGBT book, film, painting, television show, or other form of media? Then the Gay and Lesbian Review wants to hear from you. The GNLR believes in bringing awareness to queer art and artists through reviews, commentary, and thought pieces in which the author relates their personal lives to a particular piece of art, a novel, a movie. In addition to the print magazine, the GNLR also publishes articles on its blog. So you can see all of this on glreview.org. That's glreview.org. Remember, you get 50% off your subscription of the GL Review magazine when you use the promo code ITBR50. That's 50% off your print or digital subscription when you use promo code ITBR50. To learn more about submitting an article for the GNLR, visit their writer's guidelines. The link is located at the bottom of their homepage. And if you have any questions, email Stephen Hemrick. That's STEPHEN dot HEMRICK at glreview.org. The GNLR and its readers can't wait to see what you have to say.
Hey, Ivory Tower Boiler Room listeners and true crime friends. You've heard me gush over this incredible woman and her beautiful products. I'm talking about Mandy Made It. Mandy makes customized and original crochet and pre-cut goods. They are the perfect, unique, one-of-a-kind gift for literally anyone in your life. And she makes incredible home decor. I still have my pumpkins that I put out every fall. I just love them. Check her out on Instagram at MANDEE Made It or search Mandy Made It on Facebook. To order, just slide into her DMs, and if you mention the Ivory Tower Boiler Room, you will receive a free personalized gift with your first order. So, go on Instagram and look up at Mandy Made It, and Mandy is spelled MANDEE. Again, her handle is at Mandy Made It, Mandy spelled MANDEE, and order today.
Now I'm getting my mom hooked on the Haunting of Hill House because I think that's a really more creepy um horror story on TV that Mike Flanagan directs, mom. And The Haunting of Hill House is based on Shirley Jackson's novel. And remember there was that movie The Haunting? It's the same storyline. It was like a movie where they're all in a haunted house, and it also is in the 1960s in black and white. Um The Haunting of, I don't think it's called The Haunting of Hill House. I think it's just called The Haunting. But they're all basically um being visited by ghosts but possessed. Like people get possessed, and I always find the best horror movies, in my opinion, are the ones where you don't know what's real and what's fake. Like when in The Sixth Sense you just see um the little boy um is in that tent. Like he's always playing in the tent, and then he's like visited by the ghosts who like just appear. Like that to me is frightening. Or
I agree.
like when the girl wants him to figure out that her mom poisoned her, but like you just see her under the bed. Like I think, and she gives him the videotape that like reveals what her mom did. I like those moments. Like or Ghost even. I mean, Ghost is like scary, but it's also funny with Whoopi Goldberg and Demi Moore. Yeah, I love that movie. So I hope, mom, I gave my mom a task. I'm like, you need to watch The Haunting of Hill House. I want to know what you think because I find it to be one of the best ghost um stories done recently on TV. And I think with haunting movies, there always has to be loss. Like someone, a family member's passed away, and then they're revisiting, they're um visiting everyone in dreams, or you think you see them. And they kind of try to do that in A Haunting in Venice when um Perot sees the little girl who's actually the fiance, but she's in a girl form. That was kind of confusing though. Like, why didn't she just appear to him as the like teenager or as the 20-year-old woman? Like, why is she a little girl?
Yeah, that was strange.
Because then everyone's like, who is this person? Again, they could have had more, I thought, moments where the audience didn't know if they were like if we were hallucinating. Like I wish they had done because then you find out he's hallucinating because he drank the honey that is poisonous. And I'm like, huh? Like now he's hallucinating, and but why does the little boy see the ghost? None of it's answered.
Maybe he drank honey and we didn't see it. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
So would you recommend people see A Haunting in Venice?
Well, it's funny you say that because I did check out reviews from various people when you said you wanted me to talk about it. And some gave it a 5 out of 5. And then those who gave it a 1 or 2 stars out of 5, what they said really justified a lot of different things that you and I both agree upon. And so I was disappointed. I thought I would really enjoy it just because of the name, the
Mhm.
title. So I think a lot of people go into it hoping, that it's going to be exciting, and it's in Venice. Um,
And it's coming out during Halloween
right,
season,
right,
but it really did not live up to what I thought the horror it was going to be.
right. Like I saw My Big Fat Greek Wedding #3 because I knew it took place in Greece, and that's and so I
And
mean,
did
not
you
that I
enjoy My Big Fat Greek Wedding
I
3
did.
more than this?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yes, yes, definitely. They showed a lot of scenery in there. Maybe they could have shown more. I don't know, scenery, or
well,
I don't know.
didn't you see the new Halloween? Did you see?
No, I didn't.
No, you saw the one before it though with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes,
On Halloween, I thought.
on Halloween. Yes,
Those I thought were pretty good actually. Oh, you didn't see
didn't see the latest one.
and you didn't see the new Scream.
No.
That was good. Um, but right, my mom has a task now. She's gonna watch The Haunting of Hill House. She'll come back with me on Zoom. We're gonna talk about it. Um, and I'm going to see, I don't know if it'll be with my mom, but I'm definitely going to see The Exorcist because that looks really good. And I like possession movies. I like ghosts, supernatural, The Nun too. I like those types of paranormal activity movies.
One of my favorites, Poltergeist.
Oh my God, yeah.
I like.
Well, that's kind of like The Exorcist.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, Poltergeist, the first one is just so good. See, I'm not a Gremlins fan. Like some people like Gremlins. I think that's like, it's too corny in my opinion.
Yeah,
Or even Chucky. Like I don't get scared. I'm like, this little doll is
I
just
know.
or Saw. Like Saw was premiering when we were seeing A
Oh,
Haunting in Venice, and I just find the gore is not even scary. It's shock value. I don't like shock value
right. I agree.
movies. But yeah, what else do we have? We have The Exorcism. We have The Nun 2. Oh, there's The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix, which I'll have to get you to start watching. I'm gonna do an episode on that because you all know I'm a 19th century scholar, so I need to know what. Actually, the director of that mom and creator is the one who did Haunting of Hill House. So I think TV is doing a pretty good job right now with like gothic and horror. Um, yeah, Haunting in Venice did not it's not one that I would recommend on the top of the list. There's so many more. Like again, it wanted me. Oh, What Lies Beneath. That's what I want to talk about.
Oh, wow.
Um, there's a scene in this movie that really reminds me of What Lies Beneath when Rowena falls to her death. She's like imagines that you can see the spirit of her daughter taking her under. And we get that
Wow.
moment in What Lies Beneath when Michelle Pfeiffer falls into the water and she's like taken under by is it the ex-wife or the ex-girlfriend? I forget. But this man has killed a woman
Right.
and is trying to kill Michelle Pfeiffer's character. And I felt like that was a great movie. Like that
It was
really
a
worked.
thriller.
Yeah, thriller. And that's where I thought
Maybe
this
that's what I thought this was going to be.
I did
A
too. I
little
thought it
more
was going to be a
thriller.
thriller. It was not a thriller.
Right.
Um and even if anyone out there has seen Stir of Echoes, I was trying to talk to my mom, but she forgot. Like, I don't think my
No.
mom saw that movie. Um,
Remember, your dad doesn't like scary movies, so it's tough for me to watch them by myself. I mean, I know you do, but you're young. But
well, you saw a lot of horror movies when they had come out. I thought. Like, didn't you
I have
see?
The Exorcist, though I read the book
Yeah, you
because
didn't
I was
see it.
too scared to see the movie.
Mhm. But did you
So,
see the original Halloween?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah. How about
yeah, that's scary.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Um, no, I never
Yeah,
saw
that
that.
one doesn't even scare me. But or how about Friday the 13th?
Um, that's with Jason,
Yeah.
right?
Well, his mom is the first one. He's the second one, I think.
I don't think so.
You saw the original Scream because we watched it.
Yes.
Yeah. And I am everyone out there, I am covering Scream. I'm gonna be joined with Mary and a guest of mine, a friend of mine, who you'll have to wait to hear who it is. But we're gonna actually watch Scream with you all, like where we're gonna hit the play button and you all can watch Scream with us, and we're gonna talk about it as it's going on, like behind us, like as we're watching it with you, what's happening. And like I've taught Scream before, so I'm gonna bring up like what my students have talked about. I still think Scream is one of the best that bridges um horror with comedy, like playing into what the horror movie is. It's making fun of itself in a way. um and I kind of thought they were trying to make fun of the genre here of murder mysteries, but it kind of didn't.
Fell flat.
It fell flat, and it felt like the acting was forced sometimes, of like now the men are gonna fight with each other, and I'm like, wait, what's happening? um
Now
like
back up. Is Scream is where it opens with Drew Barrymore.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and remember, the whole campaign was with Drew Barrymore on the front, in the poster. People thought Drew Barrymore was like the main character, and then she's murdered.
You're right. Right.
Which is also why I think Halloween worked really well, because Halloween was such a low budget movie, and then somehow it became like just a cult classic with Jamie Lee. Well, and Jamie Lee Curtis's mom was in Psycho,
Yeah.
right?
That's right.
Janet Leigh.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jamie Lee Curtis became the what do they call her? Scream Queen.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is in Haunted Mansion. I thought
Oh,
she's
that's
so
right.
good in it.
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
Madame Leota. Again, I would recommend Haunted Mansion for everyone out there. Um, yeah, Haunting in Venice. I would say Haunted Mansion before Haunting in Venice. But yeah, so Mom, your homework is The Haunting of Hill House. You'll come back and discuss a few episodes, what you're thinking about it. Hopefully you can get Dad to watch, even though he'll be really
Oh,
scared.
well, he'll do this.
He'll cover his eyes.
He did that with Cocaine Bear. I told you. When I realized it was a satire. It was. It's
Yeah,
like when
cocaine.
you and I watch Squid Games and he
Yeah,
could not watch it and we realized it was, it yeah.
it was over
You
the
couldn't
top.
take it, yeah, you couldn't take it serious.
Exactly. It's not a serious show.
No,
I mean, it's making points about society, but
it
it's
is.
not a
That's right.
serious, like,
He was like, but Cocaine Berry, which made me laugh. So then, yeah,
oh
it
my
was
gosh. Well, this has been fun, Mom. Any Halloween stories, like in terms of remembering your childhood? Like, is there anything you remember about horror, like haunted houses, or what was it like growing up when Halloween would come around? Like, was it a holiday you really remember well, or have any
just
specific
go out
memories?
trick or treating. And back then, when I was younger, when you went trick or treating, you had to wait. You had to go into the people's homes and they had to guess who you were,
Oh,
like who you were, not the character. And I mean, so things have changed a lot, but
that's
I
not
know.
gonna happen now. I mean,
I
wait, you would
know.
have to wait in their living room and they'd
Yes.
have to guess who you are to
Yes,
get the candy?
yeah, or at
Oh.
their front door. Yeah, you had to wait.
I mean, we did have a neighbor right here. I mean, remember when I used to go be with my friends and we had a fog machine and we would scare people on the porch?
I love that. That was great.
I feel like no one scares anyone anymore. Like I think maybe they're too worried about lawsuits.
Maybe.
And we also had a neighbor who had a haunted
I
backyard.
know that was fun. They were
Yeah.
across the
But they
way.
still do. My mom loves
I do like going to scary.
walkthroughs.
Yes,
We love
that is
haunted
fun.
houses.
I agree.
Well, we would go to Six Flags.
Oh,
I don't know
yes.
what they're
Oh, that
doing
was
now. They still do.
great. The hayride,
What do they call it?
hopefully it's scary now, but
But
What?
what's the theme called at Six Flags
Oh,
in New Jersey?
geez.
It's called Fright Fest.
Oh, yes.
But remember when we would go in the late 90s and early 2000s, they would have the haunted hayride, they would have like a guillotine show.
Yes.
It was like creepy. I mean, things were
And they ran in the audience. Yeah,
yeah, even that haunted hayride was really freaky.
it was.
But I even went to the Eastern State Penitentiary. I like that experience. There's one on Long Island. I think I'm gonna go with my friends on the North Fork. It's in Wading River, and it's like a corn maze into the house, which is kind of cool. But again, whenever I'm with anyone, they throw me to the front, which I'm fine with because the front usually doesn't get scared because they're like the courageous people. They scare the middle. If you're in the middle,
Or the last.
yeah, but you get to see everyone get scared. Yeah, you're right. I think the front is probably your best bet if you're like
Yeah, that's
you don't want to be scared.
the second. Be the second in line.
Maybe.
Now we have Creamy Acres.
Yeah, in Lancaster.
No,
No, in Mullica
here,
Hill. Yeah. Sorry. Creamy
We did
Acres
that. Yeah.
was fun. I love
Yes.
their corn mazes.
Yes.
Oh, and they also have
We've gone through a
houses.
lot of different places when they had it set up.
Mhm.
Um,
We were
Yeah.
even in Ripley's, believe it or not. I always
Oh,
remember
geez.
in San
Oh, my gosh.
Antonio, and they had the
That was
haunted
the scariest.
miners walk through,
that
and
was
you went
really
in like a
scary.
miner car to get up there. And there were only it was my
It
mom
was just
and
us.
I. And we were by ourselves, and they put us through the walkthrough, and that was kind of oh, and there were like rat tails that hit us. There was
My legs were actually shaking. I was so scared. And then when we were in the dark room and we couldn't find our way out, they must have felt sorry for us because then they would say, "No, over here." At first they said it like, just to freak us out, but then they really needed to guide us out of there. Remember that?
yeah,
No, over here. No, you're going the wrong way. Turn around.
that's funny.
It's
Oh my
funny.
God. Okay, well,
But that was great. I mean, I'll always remember that. It was down in San Antonio.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
wait, and didn't
that was
you
great.
also you told me the story that you put on a haunted house
I
in
did.
like your town in South Jersey,
Yep.
right? And
At the
you
county college
yeah, and I
to
thought like
raise money.
you had
I
you were a
yes, I was
witch
a witch.
with like Barbie dolls that were
I
beheaded with blood or
had
something.
a pot. Yeah. And we made it scary. But then if they were little,
Mhm.
if they were young children, we would not scare them. They
Yeah.
just knew better.
Well, even my
Yeah.
high school had a horror. I thought a haunted walkthrough in the halls. I don't know. We have a lot of horror things in the town or in the area. We used to. Um, but again, I think there's not as many like haunted walkthroughs because they're afraid of
Sure.
I'm sure now
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to sign like legal I'm sure when
Probably.
I go to certain places I'll have to sign um
Oh, gee.
a document that like I'm not gonna sue or anything.
Right.
Um but yeah, so this was fun, Mom. I'm excited for you
Mhm.
to continue to watch these horror shows or movies. And yeah,
I love Halloween. I do.
it is the
It's fun.
best. I think it's the best holiday in my opinion. And
I
then
like the fall.
well, and in the
Yeah.
Northeast, we get the leaves changing,
Yes.
the
Mhm.
pumpkin patches, cider.
Like we were just at. Yeah.
You could shout it out.
Shout out Duffields
Yeah.
Farmers Market.
Hmm.
I've never gone through their corn maze. I didn't even realize. I just thought it was for little kids, and now I want to look into that.
When we used to
10 minutes
go
away.
to a corn maze in
Oh, geez,
Lancaster,
that really is great. Cherry Crest Farms.
yeah, and they would give
Look up
you
that.
a scavenger hunt in a way. Or
Yes,
even I thought Mullica Hill, they used to have a Wizard of Oz corn maze.
I
Remember? There
think
was
they
like a
did. They
themed
did.
Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, well, this has been great, Mom. Hopefully, everyone out there, let me know
So
if,
haunted.
yeah,
Coming in and out.
we're coming in and out on our green screen, but,
That's fun.
um, I'm gonna have my mom back on. We're gonna do more horror discussions. I'll bring her on for special topics. Maybe I'll get my dad on with her eventually. If he watches Haunting of Hill House, he needs to come on with you for the Zoom. But my dad gets really nervous on podcasts, but I'm getting him and my mom eased into this format. But okay. So everyone can actually follow my mom on Instagram. Do you remember your Instagram handle?
Oh, geez.
At
At KJ Rimby.
yeah. Okay.
That's my name.
It's your
Oh.
name. Okay. Okay, well, bye to everyone out there, and I'm gonna get to talk to my mom more since I'm hanging out here for the weekend. Okay, bye everyone. Oh, and let us all know what your favorite horror movies are. Like maybe there's ones that I'm not even aware
Right.
of. Like message me Let me know what you think of A Haunting in Venice. I'm curious who else is watching this. Yeah. Bye, everyone. Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Rimby. I want to thank you so much for listening to the ITBR and TCIA episodes. Make sure, if you don't, follow, rate, and review us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, make sure you follow ITBR on TikTok and Instagram at Ivory Tower Boiler Room, and TCIA on TikTok and Instagram at True Crime and Academia. Also, we have a brand new Patreon membership system. So I just want to explain it to you all quickly. So if you want to become an ITBR student, it is $5 a month. You get ad-free ITBR and TCIA episodes and video interviews. If you want to become an ITBR professor for $10 a month, you get all of those ad-free benefits, but you also get access to both the ITBR and TCIA book clubs. You can join both book clubs, get ad-free episodes, plus you're going to get all of our extra video episodes. So I am rewatching Queer as Folk. Christian Garcia from That Old Gay Classic Cinema is joining us, and he's rewatching Smash. Mary is going to start to rewatch shows as well. You even get access to what I'm calling the ITBR Teaches. So if I'm recapping a movie or a TV show, including Barbie, Halloween movies, and horror films, you get access to that as well. And then I also am offering consultation services. So for $30, you get your first initial consultation with me. It's a 1 hour private Zoom. I will help create your podcast, your media brand. How do you navigate academia as an undergrad or a grad student? Do you need help with technology? It could be teaching tools, Spotify for podcasters, video editor software. Do you want to expand your social media presence as an artist, writer, podcaster, or academic? Do you want help on how to create a public humanities identity like I've created for myself? So I'm offering that consultation service. You can find more info about it on Patreon. And you also can join our book clubs. If you want to just join the ITBR book club or the TCIA book club, you can do that for $4 a month. Patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. That is patreon.com/Ivory Tower Boiler Room. Thanks to the team, Mary DePippi, our chief contributor, and thank you to our two new interns from Stony Brook University, Jonathan and Sarah. Bye, everyone. Until next time.